Not only did we call this pullback for XRP perfectly, now I am sending out the warning that yes, we're about to see a reversal and a rally is incoming for XRP. So in this video, we're going to break down how we got here and where we go next. In short, I do believe that XRP is heading above $3 by the end of this month. You can hold me to it, and I know you guys like to hold me to it. That's okay. We appreciate you for stopping by. Make sure you guys drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this analysis, and help us out by sharing this out far and wide and liking our content. We greatly appreciate that. All of our community resources are available at ZachRector.com. And for everybody asking about merch orders, we're working around the clock to get them all out. All orders will be out this week. If you have any inquiries, just message us merch@ZachRector.com. We'll make sure you get taken care of, okay? Let's rock and roll. I appreciate everybody for stopping by. Scott Besant appearing here saying that the U.S. has not engaged in trade negotiations with China. Now, the market was already back down today, so a little bit of bad sentiment and a little bit of red candles already had come in today. This one doesn't seem to be getting picked up too much. I think a lot of people kind of expected that the United States was kind of, bluffing here and there on trade talks with China. But he says that there's 18 main trading negotiations that we need to get done. 17 of those we're working on, but China is the one holdout, and they're trying to play around here. And so we'll see how that deal goes. But one of the reasons why I am anticipating a rally, not just for XRP, but for the broader markets, is I'm expecting more of these trade deals to get signed here as we go through May and into the month of June. Another reason why I'm expecting a rally and a big appreciation in all of these assets, Treasury Secretary Scott Besant confirming that the U.S. will never default on our debt. We will raise the debt ceiling. So there's two options that we're in, just like many other countries as well. You can either default on the debt, that's one option, or you can inflate away, print money to pay back the debt. And so if he's confirming that we're not going to be defaulting, that means that money printer is going to be going brr. And we're going to be printing a lot of funny fiat money. And you know what that's going to do to asset prices. Now, is Bitcoin the answer? According to the UK Treasury, absolutely not. They are ruling out a national Bitcoin reserve, saying that following the US lead is not appropriate for its market. And they need to be careful because is the US going to do the strategic Bitcoin deal? And to what extent? I've been talking about this. The Bitcoin bros talking about us selling gold to buy Bitcoin. It'll never happen. The Bitcoin bros saying that Bitcoin's the end all be all. We don't need to have any other assets in the strategic reserve. That's not happening. You heard it from President Trump yourself. Don't take it from anybody else because you have a lot of sharks, Bitcoin sharks, that have been circling President Trump. And they're all trying to get the government to buy their bags. Meanwhile, Ripple just keeps on building, side by side there with President Trump, not requesting anything crazy, just showing up and being of value. And what comes of that? President Trump confirming himself that XRP will be in our strategic reserve stockpile. So pick your fighter. You can pick the Bitcoin bros, or we can listen to President Trump directly. He's never said actually that we're going to buy any Bitcoin. He's only mentioned selling Bitcoin. Inconvenient truth for the Bitcoin bros in that regard. Now, continuing on, another reason why we are going a lot higher is because there's already so much capital on the sidelines. Money market fund assets under management have hit a record $7.4 trillion. This now reflects about 15% of the S&P 500's market cap, up from 13% in February. Over the last 2 years, total assets have risen by a whopping $2 trillion. This is despite the Fed cutting rates by 100 basis points since September 2024. According to the Crane 100 Money Index, which tracks the 100 largest money market funds, these funds are now yielding 4.14% on average. Risk-free investments have never been more popular. And that's we saw with Warren Buffett as he set sail. See you guys later. I'm out of here. Just like so many of these big executives, Bezos, Zuckerberg, they're selling out, cashing out, building bunkers, heading for the hills. Jeff Bezos, he's got to disassemble bridges and literally move bridges so that he can get his yacht in position. That's how these guys are dialing in. And Bezos just filed to sell off another $5 billion of his stock, by the way. These guys are hitting the exits and moving to cash quickly. And they're going to be ready to buy the blood in the streets. And that's what's coming through. And that's why I'm expecting the market to rally back up here and to see significant price appreciation over the next 12 months, not just for the crypto assets, but I do expect a recovery on stocks. But our crypto assets are just going to far far outpace the rest of the market. And so we're positioned correctly. And one of the cryptos that we got in here, and we've already doubled up our money, has been ZBEC Network. ZBCN is the ticker. I wanted to bring your attention to tomorrow. They're having a space. Well, they're going to be talking about payroll of the future, featuring PayBridge, one of the acquired US-based payroll companies, to dive into how we're redefining payroll and payments in the US and beyond. So that'll be taking place at 9 a.m. Eastern. I wanted to bring everybody's awareness to that one. A lot of folks confused, thinking that ZBEC's another meme coin. I know people don't like to hear me talk about meme coins. That's okay. I'm not going to mention any meme coins today, okay? ZBEC Network, not a meme coin, a real utility based in America. And now you're seeing they're showing up and providing these spaces too. This allows all of us to get caught up to speed on that one. From an investment standpoint, boy, did we catch a runner on ZBEC. I'll show you the chart here real quick. I mean, this thing just went crazy. Look at this thing. If you would have bought that dip anywhere near the bottom, you're up 169%. I got in right here at this level. So at today's price, as I record this, I'm up 112% on ZBEC. And I still think that we're going to do quite a bit more for ZBEC. I shared my targets publicly in my deep dive, and that's about half a penny to a penny. I'm keeping it conservative. I know there's some people that are expecting a lot more. That's great. I hope to see that happen. I'm going to be just thrilled to see this thing. I think we double up and triple up from here. And just that alone is going to be a great move. Great move. And I'm going to be watching them from a fundamental utility project perspective to see if they can follow through with some of their aspirations and goals. As a real utility based in America, you know how bullish I am on it. Now, continuing on, this is a very, very interesting deal. We have the FIT21 bill, which is the market structure bill. The FIT21 was the original bill. Now they're restructuring this bill. I don't think that they have a name for it yet, but it's basically the market structure bill. So we're expecting a vote on the stablecoin bill this Thursday. That would be great. Another reason why, it's time to get bullish here again. But the market structure bill is another big one. And we look here at the actual language. This was shared here by Mikkel. He took a snapshot of the actual language of this bill. And this gets very interesting. It says no digital, and this is in relation to Ripple's escrow. It says no digital asset issuer or affiliated person beneficially owned in the aggregate 20% or more of the total amount of units of such digital asset. So basically, for an asset not to be a security, you can't have one owner or issuer own more than 20% of the digital assets that can be created, issued, or distributed in such blockchain system and were freely transferable or otherwise used or available to be used for the purposes of such blockchain system. No digital asset issuer or affiliated person had the unilateral authority to direct the voting in the aggregate of 20% or more of the outstanding voting power of such digital asset or related decentralized governance system. So we really need to understand here, this gets very interesting and, might just prove once again how genius this escrow was that Ripple created, because some folks might see this and think, oh, well, Ripple's screwed. They have way over 20% of the supply. But the way that the time lock escrow works is Ripple doesn't have access to a significant amount of that supply. I mean, we're talking, what is their escrow at now? 38 billion? I think it's under 40 billion now. But you're talking over 35 billion of Ripple's XRP holdings that's not accessible because it's in the time locked escrow. And every month they are only given access to another billion. So outside of the escrow, what are their holdings? I'm going to share the Q1 markets report here in a second, and it's probably in there. But basically, I mean, they don't have more than 5-10% of the supply freely transferable per the bill here. These assets have to be freely transferable or otherwise used or available. Well, the escrow is not available, and only $1 billion becomes available every month. Ripple's been returning most of that back to the escrow. So I'm waiting to hear from a legal mind or a lawyer who might actually be able to confirm this. But the way that I'm reading this, Ripple's escrow would be in the clear, and it would once again prove that Ripple was absolutely genius and really responsible custodians of the XRP currency by time locking it in this escrow and doing controlled releases and increasing the circulating supply of XRP to match the demand, which just continues to grow and grow. And we're going to show you that here in the next couple points. So let me know what you guys think about this. But this one might cover Ripple's escrow. For other folks that do own more than 20% of the supply of their tokens, they're going to find themselves in an interesting position if this market structure bill does get passed. More on that later. Wanted to bring your attention here. This is Gemini listing RLUSD. This is great news. The only thing that I didn't particularly like about this one was it is RLUSD on Ethereum. But, we really have to understand what's happening here. The bridge will be built. It'll be offered by Ripple for you to swap from RLUSD on ETH to XRP. I imagine that that's going to be happening if it's not already available, which it probably already is for their institutional clients. But, to at least be getting exposure of RLUSD on more exchanges, we love to see it. It got listed on Kraken last month. Now it's on Gemini. I expect Coinbase and other major Binance listings to be coming right around the corner, right? So more on that later. We have the Bitwise investment report on XRP dropping a clear, succinct, and relevant description of what drives XRP's value. 1, the transaction fees. 2, spam prevention. And 3, bridge currency and liquidity reserve for a large ecosystem. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this, and this is just to remind everybody where XRP really gets its value from, like directly. These are the factors that are directly correlated to XRP's price. Despite some things, market perception and different things can have an impact as well. But direct impact on XRP's supply and demand and price comes from transaction fees and burning, spam prevention, and then being a bridge currency and liquidity, liquidity reserve for a large ecosystem that's expanding and growing rapidly. But the best thing about this is that this is not coming from me or some other Joe Blow. This is coming from the suits on Wall Street that are getting ready to sell it with slideshow presentations and sell it to you in 589 different ways. I've been talking about this moment, and we're here where you're starting to see the suits selling it for us. I don't need to shill XRP. These guys are going to be doing it for us. Now, I want to bring your attention to the Q1 market report here from Ripple and a couple interesting takeaways that I found. Yes, they are going to be sunsetting this market report, which is sad. I mean, this has provided us updates since 2017, and that's when Ripple created the escrow, actually. So Ripple has just tried to be transparent in offering this market report, but they say, however, the reality is that the report has not had the intended effect. In many instances, Ripple's transparency has been used against the company, most notably by former SEC leadership. So one of the main factors of this is that their transparency in these market reports actually led to the SEC using it against them, saying, well, we know how much money you were making off of your XRP sales because we can point to your markets report. So Ripple getting punished for being transparent. And I've always mentioned how they are the leaders in providing reserve reports, audits, and transparency of their business operations. I mean, they basically have been letting us know how their whole business operation works. And you don't really see this from anybody, whether that be in crypto or other business. I mean, the level of transparency that they've provided is definitely noteworthy. But this is the big one. This is the big one. Because what we're seeing right now, XRP ETFs, spot XRP ETFs are not live in America yet, but they're coming. And I've long been telling you guys and warning you that my prediction is that these XRP ETFs are going to actually outperform not just the Ethereum and other ETFs, but they might even outperform the Bitcoin ETFs. And we're starting to see data confirm that I might be onto something. Check this out right here. So if I bring your attention right here, it says XRP exchange traded products continue to gain traction globally. With increased listings and inflows, XRP-based investment products outperformed their Bitcoin and Ethereum counterparts, recording 37.7 million in inflows and bringing their year-to-date total to 214 million, just 1 million shy of overtaking global Ethereum funds. We saw Franklin Templeton file an S1. The US CME announced the expansion of its crypto derivatives suite with the launch of XRP futures. You got volatility shares submitted applications for 3 XRP ETFs. Brazil went live with their ETF. Tia Cream went live with the first XRP ETF in America. and that was their most successful ETF that they ever launched. And so the word's starting to get out with the Tia Cream CEO saying, hey, yeah, our XRP ETF was our most successful ETF ever. You have Bitwise telling us the main value proposition of XRP and the main drivers of the value of XRP. And you are already seeing, not me talking about it, not even the suits talking about it, hard data. The inflows into the XRP products are outperforming the counterparts there for Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's not coming from me, not coming from Brad, not coming from anybody else, other than the data is telling us that people want more exposure to XRP versus Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, we can see this because now we have wallet activity showing that over 300,000 wallets now hold 10,000 plus XRP, hitting a record high as whales amassed 900 million XRP worth 1.8 billion in the last 30 days. So not only are these products outperforming Bitcoin and Ethereum, the wallet activity showing us that, yeah, there's been some retail, some small selling off here taking place for XRP. We actually had, we've had a couple weeks of net outflows on XRP, yet we're still holding $2. And as I titled this episode, the XRP rally, well, it's incoming. Let's head to the chart right now so I can show you what got us here. And yes, we did call this pullback. And now we're calling for the reversal and the rally. So it's time to lock in, folks. Take a look at this chart right here. This is the XRP spot market. And I had noted on April 26th, this day right here, in my Discord weekly call, I said, guys, we have a correlation with the moon phase. We have an April 30th Q1 GDP report coming out. That was this day. And then we have the Fed meeting, which I have marked here on my big vertical yellow line. And so I said, watch for us to top out around this new moon. That's exactly what happened. But then I said, watch for us to pull back. And I have my purple box right here. I drug my purple box all the way out to the May 7th Fed meeting taking place tomorrow. And not only did we come in once, not only did we come in twice, we have now come in for a third time, extending all the way down here to 207 on the XRP spot market. Not only did I make this call, I placed my bet. And what I did here, this is the XRP Coinbase futures, is I had my buy order placed at 213 to go long XRP, and that got filled this morning. Now you see that the futures contract went all the way down here to 203. So I didn't time the bottom perfectly. That's okay. We got in. And I got in here pretty close to the bottom, and I'm anticipating XRP to rally up towards over $3. That's my official prediction, is that XRP is heading back above $3 in the month of May, and I'm really happy with picking up this XRP long position at this level. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm just telling you how we saw it, how we played it. Yes, our order got filled, and I even placed another order this morning to buy another XRP long if we go back down to $2. So if they smack us again over the next 24 to 48 hours and send it back down lower, not a problem. I got an order waiting. And I'm not shorting XRP, but I got my backstop. I got my order ready to be filled, and they're both longs. So I'm officially long XRP. Not only am I calling for it, I put my bet on it. You guys let me know in the comments down below how you see it playing out. But I got XRP back above $3 by the end of the month. It's time to lock in. And that's going to be right as we head on into XRP Las Vegas to have ourselves a party. Hope to see all of you guys there. If you guys could do me a big favor by liking this video, sharing it out far and wide, I would greatly appreciate you. And we will see you back tonight for our live show at 10 p.m. Eastern. Every Tuesday, every Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you there. God bless. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.